as you can see, me and Kim are very excited because Dragon Quest VII has officially been released on the 3DS. And to be honest, I never thought it would happen. I've been to so many conventions and people came up and asked me, do you think Dragon Quest VII, do you think they're going to bring it over here? And I'm like, I don't know, because Dragon Quest VII is a huge game, a gigantic game. This game can take you 80 hours to finish, and there's so much translation that was needed to bring it over here. And I thought, I don't know, it's just too much work to do, but I'm so happy that Nintendo and Square Enix listened to all the fans, all of the artwork that was sent in, all of the letters, all of the love that poured into them, saying, please bring over Dragon Quest VII. And I'm so happy that it's finally been released in the West. Now, for anybody new to the Dragon Quest series, I kind of have to explain a little something that some of us take for granted, and that is the term role-playing game, RPG. And I have to kind of explain what you do in a role-playing game, and this is for a lot of brand new people, because all of us seasoned veterans know this stuff, but we really want brand new fans to come in and experience this game. And a lot of people are like, what the heck's an RPG? What is that? Where it's a game where you control characters and explore an entire world and fight monsters, explore caves and discover treasures. And as I say, you fight monsters, you beat them, you gain experience, you gain brand new weapons, you upgrade your equipment, you can change your class. There's a lot going on there. It's a really exciting genre, and I've always been a big fan of role-playing games, and I've always been a big fan of Dragon Quest. And it used to be called Dragon Warrior when Nintendo officially brought out the first one on the regular Nintendo years ago. To not give too much away, I'll just say the basic storyline, and that is, you're on an island called the Estrad Island, and you're alone. This is the only island in the world, and you're the main character, and you're teamed up with the prince Kiefer, and he's really out to find out if there's any other islands in this world. He's thinking, we can't be the only people in this world. And you go to an old shrine, and from there the world kind of opens up, and you start to find out a lot of mysteries about this world. And you can travel to the past, and that unlocks certain things in the future. That's all I'll say about that, but it's very mysterious and it's very exciting, and they've streamlined this game a lot, so it's a lot easier to complete a lot of the quests with the tablets. And as you start playing the game, you'll learn all about the tablets, where you have to collect a lot of tablets. And that's also another thing in this game that's brand new, is the Street Pass mode, where you can find certain tablets and trade them online, and that will unlock certain dungeons that you can go in that are only available through the online pass. Now, getting back to the story, Dragon Quest VII has an overall huge storyline, but within that, there's all these mini stories, and that's to do with the tablets and discovering those. What's really cool, though, is you get to learn about the people in this world in a very, very intimate way, that when you get through this game, you feel that you really, really know everybody. I know that sounds unusual, but in a lot of the quests you do, you're helping people sometimes in the past, and then you're discovering them again in the future, and some of the outcomes are emotional at times. They really are. Now, a lot of the puzzles have been streamlined. A lot of the gameplay has been updated to make it a much smoother experience from the old one. From what I read on the original Dragon Quest VII, the creators of the game were upset because a lot of people didn't finish the game because it was so ridiculously long, and a lot of the puzzles were very, very hard to figure out. So what they've done is they've made some of the tablets easier to find, and I'll leave it at that for you guys. But a lot of it has been updated, and it's a lot faster than the older version. The one thing that I can really gush about with this game is the graphics. I was really blown away when I started playing the game. I'm like, oh my god, they really have done a real updated version of the older game. The older game was a PlayStation 1 game. It came out later in the life of the PlayStation 1. And by the time that game came out, it was looking a little archaic. It really was, even for real big fans of Dragon Quest. We were like, oh, wow, the graphics they're okay. Where I can honestly say with the 3DS version, the graphics are beautiful. Such wonderful, kind of like cel-shaded graphics. Everything is in 3D, fully rotatable. I was really blown away. They've really borrowed a lot from 8 and 9 for this one, and it's really nice to see it implemented. Speaking of 8 and 9, the combat is also borrowed heavily from 8 and 9, and that's, trust me, that's a wonderful addition. I really enjoy that, meaning that it's first-person perspective when you go into combat, but it pulls away so you can see your characters doing their attacks. It's still turn-based, which is wonderful, but you can see the attacks done by each character individually, and I really love the 3D graphics for the battles compared to the original Dragon Quest VII, which was just a static image at that point, and it looked good back then, but hey, in 3D it looks really, really good. And thank goodness for that, because you'll be in combat a lot. This is a very grindy game. All of the Dragon Quest games are very grindy, where you're out in the field, you're fighting monsters, gaining levels, always improving your character. And that's what Dragon Quest is always about, is improving your characters, upgrading and getting higher levels, getting better equipment so you can go on to the next land. But it's very, very rewarding. And you're not only just running around the land, there's different forms of transportation. You can use a boat later on as well. And the thing is, this game has one of the biggest item lists in a Dragon Quest game, and never mind that, there is hundreds and hundreds of monsters. Now we've got to get into the music, and the music of Dragon Quest VII has always been very dark, very somber, and very eerie, and fits the game world incredibly well. But it's very, very ominous, and it's really cool. I'll play one of my favorite songs right now. I love that song. It's dark, it's foreboding, it's really atmospheric, and it's really perfect. I've enjoyed all of the Dragon Quest music over the years. I think, for me, Dragon Quest is a comfort food type of game. There's a lot of different kinds of games out there, but for me, when I play a Dragon Quest game, it really takes me into a very happy place that reminds me about when I first started playing the Dragon Quest series years ago. It just feels very comfortable to slip back into the world with the characters, and a lot of the systems are still the same as the first game. And that's a good thing. I've always liked that those things are still the same. And for anybody who is new to the series, I'm wearing it right now, slimes are also the mascot of the series. They're usually the first enemies you fight when you first leave town. You'll always see slimes, and never mind king slimes as well. Honestly, in review, I have played all the major RPGs on the 3DS, and I can say that Dragon Quest VII is my favorite RPG on the system now, and that's not a small order. But from the graphics that are so beautifully done, I think these are the best RPG graphics I've ever seen on the system. I love the music. As I say, it's very eerie, very ominous, but perfectly fitting for the game. I just enjoy the character designs by Akira Toriyama. I've always liked his designs. I think they were very subtly used in this, and I really like every single character's story. And that's the thing, the characters all talk to each other while you're playing the game. And if you get stuck at any point, you're like, where am I supposed to go next? Just talk to your characters. They'll lead you and remind you what you were supposed to be doing next. And this game is a huge game. You're not going to finish this game in one sitting, and that's the other thing for new people to RPGs, is you don't finish a role-playing game in one sitting. It never happens. It's one of these games that's going to take you a long time to get through. You'll get your money's worth out of this game. And the game lasts from about 80 to 110 hours, depending on how much grinding you decide to do. The original game was 120 hours, and this game, at the very core, is 80 hours. Now, Square Enix and Nintendo have worked hand in hand to bring this game out. I know it's been a long development cycle in the translation process, and there's a whole brand new translation of this game compared to the older version, and it comes across in a really wonderful package. I can't recommend it enough, and I'm so happy to add it to the rest of my Dragon Quest games. Dragon Quest 4, 5, 6, now 7. 8 is coming in 2017, and 9, which is also available. We finally have them all. It's a really wonderful time to be a Dragon Quest fan, and also, if you've never played a Dragon Quest game, this is a great place to jump in. You'll really have a lot of fun. There's so much to discover in the game. There's so much to do in the game that you'll get so much amazing playtime out of. I can guarantee that. So, guys, I'm very, very excited. We finally have Dragon Quest VII. Get to a store, pick it up. It's completely worth it. So anyways, guys, until next time.